What's up, guys? We have a blizzard on our hands. We're going to break that system down, and then we're going to get into the one that's right on its heels that will bring more heavy snow, and then that multi-day severe weather threat across a lot of the country. First, though, we're going to go coast to coast in a minute, show you the weather across the country over the next couple of days in about a minute. If you are looking for the breakdown of those two systems, I have those time codes posted in the description below. I know your time is valuable, so you can click on that time. It'll take you right where you want to go. Here we go. Post in the comments what the weather is doing where you are tuning in from. We're going to start things off at 5 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday the 15th. Scattered showers around New York City, some heavy rain leaving western PA. That's going to gradually through the morning move towards central PA and into Philadelphia. A few scattered showers around the I-81 corridor. Those will extend into Atlanta, southern Mississippi towards Mobile, and into New Orleans as well. There, of course, is the snowy side of that blizzard that we will break down in just about 30 seconds. This is the making of storm number 2. You see the heavy snow getting going south of Denver, north of Albuquerque, and then expanding as we move into the 16th. This is overnight on the 16th, Thursday morning now. Look at all the heavy rain moving through Tennessee, Kentucky, into southern Indiana and Illinois. Some very heavy snow working through Kansas City, south and east of Omaha, closing in on Chicago. Next big system on the west coast arriving early on the 16th as well. Some heavy snow expected in the Cascades and some heavy rain pushing into Seattle in Portland as this next system blasts right on through. Let me know in the comments if you like weather in a minute. Trying something new here to give everybody a shot to see what the weather's going to do across the country. It's a much better indoor night for Valentine's Day in parts of Minnesota and the Dakotas. There's the blizzard warning highlighted in red south of Grand Forks. It's going to include us down the I-29 corridor from Fargo into Watertown, Alexandria, Minnesota. If you've never been, it's an awesome place to visit. Maybe not so much tonight. Fergus Falls, it includes us through I-94 into Fargo as well. Travel could be impossible at times due to blowing snow. Now, we're not talking about a ton of snow with this system. This is all about the wind and the visibility. It's going to take a second for the snow to start flying in parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. So here we go into Fergus Falls. Notice we still have rain. Same for us into Alexandria through St. Cloud. We had that changeover west of Jamestown down I-94 already going. This is going to be 7 o'clock in the evening Central Time, so still looking okay. Look at how quickly things change over, though. This is 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Central, and then we had this very heavy burst of snow from Bemidji down into Fergus Falls for us in Millbank, Watertown, Brookings. Again, there's not going to be a ton of snow. It's just going to blow around. We're looking as we move into 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then here we go. The snow isn't that heavy at this time. As we stop this again at about 4 o'clock in the morning, it's still snowing in Alexandria, Redwood Falls, St. Cloud, Hibbing, Big Falls, Red Lake, into Bemidji, but it is going to be blowing around big time. That is where we have the problem with this system. Just looking at this snowfall forecast, you're going to be like, why are we making a big deal of this? I know, it's not much snow. 1 to 3 inches tops. Maybe a few of us can overachieve in western Minnesota, southeast North Dakota, and then eastern South Dakota. It's all about the wind. This is what I'm talking about. All that red on your screen, those are wind gusts of about 40 to 50 plus miles an hour in and around Fargo where we have that light snow falling. Look at that, Fergus Falls into Alexandria, where you see that pink. We're talking 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts from this system late Valentine's Day night and then into Wednesday, February 15th before things start to subside just a little bit, getting into your Wednesday afternoon and evening. If you're finding this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help us out a lot. But wait, there's more. Another impactful system right on the heels of our upper Midwest and Northern Plains blizzard gets going on Wednesday. This is going to be for us around the Four Corners area, specifically into Colorado, northern New Mexico, and Arizona, and then into western Kansas. Other piece of it way out here along the North Gulf Coast. A lot of other channels are really hyping this up with a lot of snow. Now, the severe weather side is a different story, and we're going to break that down in just 1 second. But this is not coming together to be a super storm on steroids by any means, and I will show you why in just a second. Nonetheless, we're going to take this forward. I do think the heaviest snow of this event is going to fall right down in here for us in the parts of Colorado into Kansas. We'll go over those snowfall totals in just a second. As we move in early Thursday, this is going to be 6 a.m. Central Time. Narrow band of heavy snow through parts of Kansas into Iowa. This will likely extend just to the north of Chicago. As we move through the day on Thursday, this is where we're going to be watching for the potential for severe weather on Wednesday afternoon and evening. We're going to take this further out into Thursday. This is now going to be 6 o'clock in the evening Central. That's 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Some snow making it towards the Windy City. The heaviest, though, should stay to the northwest of us in Chicago, closer towards the tip of Michigan, into parts of the UP of Michigan. Note the severe weather threat, though. We're looking at the green here. We'll take this further out into the evening. This is going to be a very widespread severe weather threat, especially where you have these darker greens. That's really going to extend from the Great Lakes all the way from Lake Erie down into the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to be watching that closely as some heavy snow again falling mainly north of Toronto, north of Montreal, as this continues to lift off towards the north and east. Now, I mentioned about the snow. I don't think it's going to be a ton. This is going to be the European ensembles, and the snow that you see here, this is from our earlier system, so this is nothing new. That is what we just talked about. Nonetheless, you see here, this is where we could have a good amount of snow, 6+ inches of snow. Note this very narrow strip. I mentioned this is the European ensembles. The highest ensemble member here is pegging about 5 inches on the Kansas-Colorado border. Everywhere else is in that 3-inch-ish ballpark. Certainly there's going to be room for fine-tuning this forecast, and there's going to be room for more snow. But on average, I'm not expecting a ton of snow with this. And one of the reasons why, it's just a very ugly upper level pattern. There's a lot going on here on this map. I'm going to take this back for you. Here is our upper low, situated right here about the four corners. There's our ridge right here, dipping the jet stream right through here. As this kind of slides on out of the four corners, our upper low is now moved here. But look at all this red. This red is the amount of spin in the atmosphere. We still have part of it hanging way back into the desert southwest. So we're not looking at this big behemoth ball of energy, if you will, in the mid-levels of our atmosphere. It's strung out and it's relatively weak. It's also kind of moisture-starved in these areas. We're not really drinking out of the Gulf of Mexico to give us a very narrow stripe of heavy snow. There will be some accumulating snow here. It's certainly going to impact your drive. It's going to impact your commutes as we get through Wednesday night into Thursday. But I'm not anticipating this huge storm like some other channels are predicting. That is all hype. The severe weather side of this is a different story, although there are still some major questions on how bad this is going to be. Still something very closely to pay attention to from Dallas into southeast Oklahoma, southeast of Oklahoma City, towards Little Rock, Arkansas, into Memphis, Tennessee, and then also into Jackson, Shreveport, and Alexandria, Louisiana. This is going to be on Wednesday, February 15th. Here is the risk area for severe weather on Wednesday, February 15th, and this is going to be southeast of Oklahoma City, east of Wichita Falls. So heads up again in southeast Oklahoma and into Dallas. Watch what happens. This is going to be about 6 o'clock in the evening on the 15th. We start to pop a line of thunderstorms right along the Texas-Oklahoma border, and then watch them really explode here to the east of Oklahoma City, east of Wichita Falls. So again, heads up in Dallas. Also, we're going to be watching these little isolated cells here, these kidney bean-shaped guys out ahead of that main line. Watch those. Those are going to have the best opportunity to kind of spin. That is going to be right along a developing warm front that kind of brings that unstable air mass out of the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to take this further out into the future now, and I'm going to show you the progression again. This is now getting late into the evening, so this is 10 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday the 15th, and what we see here is nasty storms in and around Fort Smith, Arkansas, Rogers, Arkansas. We have more nasty weather in central Tennessee, then also closer to the Mississippi, Arkansas border. The high-resolution model is popping a few isolated supercells here. You see those little kidney bean shaped guys that I'm highlighting. Again, that's bad news. That's, again, what we are trying to hope to avoid, but something that everyone needs to be paying attention to on Wednesday evening. We're going to take this up into Tennessee, into Missouri. Look at this. Again, an ugly potential night. This is going to be 11 o'clock p.m. We have those storms moving into Nashville, moving into Missouri, and we still have some nasty supercellular looking thunderstorms in parts of Mississippi. So again, this could be ugly. Look at all of the heavy rain then that moves into Kentucky. This is now 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. St. Louis getting battered with some very heavy rain. The outside shot of some stronger thunderstorms as well, and you see that there. This is going to be on the 16th at about 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. You see some very heavy snow now on the northwest side of Kansas City. And that brings us into Thursday. That severe weather threat is going to continue. And look how widespread this is from the Gulf Coast of the U.S. all the way up into Lake Erie. That is going to include Erie, Pennsylvania. That is crazy. A severe weather threat in the middle of February in Erie, Pennsylvania. Also for us getting into Columbus, Athens, Ohio. That's going to include Pittsburgh as well. Buffalo, we are under that marginal risk, but still an opportunity into the Florida Panhandle, a better chance. Same deal for us in New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi. Still for us in Memphis. And again, this is going to include all that ugliness that we just showed you early in the morning on Thursday. So in my opinion, the highest threat with this next system, beyond that blizzard we just talked about, is going to be the severe weather threat, especially in the Deep South on Wednesday afternoon. Make sure that you have a way to get your watches and warnings. Stay weather aware, again, both on the 15th and 16th as that system moves across the country. We'll fine-tune that snowfall forecast, but again, I don't think with that secondary system, there's going to be a ton of snow falling because of those reasons that we mentioned earlier in this video. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. We would love to have you in this growing weather community, and we will catch you next time.